Well, I thought we were over with this one, but we're not quite done. You know what they say about counting hatched chickens? Well, good morning from a rather noisy rest area here just north of Grants Pass, Oregon. I had a short night of sleep, slept pretty good despite all this noise out here. Well, I've been up a while. I actually got up at 7 a.m., which is crazy. I never get up that early. But I've got things on my mind. Yesterday I left Eureka in Northern California and headed up north here, and it was not a fun trip. If you've been following along on my vlogs, you may have seen that I was a little concerned about the van. The van seems really down on power. So one of the things I did this morning was I called a family member who's a mechanic, and he gave me some really good advice. So I'm glad I did that, and thank you if you're watching. I think that there were some more things going on than just the van. One thing that I didn't take into consideration was it was really windy yesterday. I had a headwind for probably more than half of the trip up here, and so that may have accounted for something a little bit. Plus, I really wasn't feeling good at all yesterday. I probably shouldn't have gone for a big drive when I wasn't feeling good, but I did, and I think that kind of made things quite a bit worse than they really are. This morning, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like normal, so already halfway into my cup of coffee, and I've done a few little things, but I have not started up the van yet. So let's go fire up the van and see how she's running this morning. Here goes nothing. Well, she's fired up and running as normal, I should say. Not the smoothest engine ever. And that hasn't changed since day one, since I bought it, but running like it usually does. So another good sign there. I think we're okay. I think maybe I was just overreacting a little bit. I'm going to let it warm up because it definitely needs to warm up. It was chilly last night. I think it got down to 42 degrees. I was very happy that I had a hat on and my heavy down comforter, but this wasn't exactly the perfect location to park last night. I actually slept really good even though I didn't get my normal 10 hours of sleep. The road noise I thought might be a problem, but I didn't notice any road noise at all last night. Really, the only issue I had was that the van is kind of tipped down, nose down a little bit, and I sleep with my head on this side of the van, which means my head was kind of down. Also, the van is tipped this way, which means I was kind of rolling out of bed all night. That was the bigger issue. I actually stuck a little pillow under the front here to kind of lift my head up a little bit, and then I went in right before I went to sleep. I put a little blanket under this side to give me a little block to keep me from rolling out of bed. I at least had a little bit of something to kind of keep me in there. Isn't that what they do to toddlers, for toddlers? I don't know, to kind of lock them in bed that way. I slept like a toddler last night. Did a little bit of fussing and a little bit cranky, but today I'm fine after a few hours of sleep. So with me not feeling good yesterday, I was really contemplating just turning around and heading back to California, kind of my home base area. If I need to work on the van, I feel like being in an area that I know a little bit better might be a wiser choice. But now that I'm rested up, and since I got to talk to somebody that knows about mechanical stuff, not just me guessing, I feel better about the situation, about just carrying on. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to throw caution to the wind and just carry on forward. I do have a friend up north that I could do a little bit of maintenance stuff on the van if need be. So I think if the van's running okay, we'll just keep going and head up to their house. I do need to make a stop though, because yesterday I ate up all my eggs and have no more breakfast food. I guess I could make a sandwich or something, but not really in the mood for a sandwich this early since I don't normally get up this early in the morning. So we'll get to a store somewhere. It'll give us a good idea of how the van's running too, because we're going to be heading up a hill here. The other thing with this plan is if we get a little ways out and the van is not running that great, we can always just turn around and head back in the other direction, because if we're coming back in this direction, we'd be going down the hill, which is probably going to be better. So there's the plan. Caution to the winds, throwing caution to the wind. So this first hill here was pretty steep and pretty long, but it eventually leveled out, and then we even got to a point here where we were going downhill, and on the uphills the van didn't perform very well, felt pretty much like it did before, where I was a little bit worried about it. But on the downhill sections like this one, the van felt pretty good. Didn't seem like it was struggling too much. And besides, I had this beautiful view to keep me occupied and to keep me thinking positively. So with the view really just luring me on, I went ahead and just kept driving. Even though on the uphill parts, I still had some concerns. But this had me thinking too that, well, I am getting some age on this van. This van's getting almost at 98,000 miles and almost 9 years old. And maybe I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to really cut down on my mileage. And this is something I should probably consider a little bit more. And this is not a happy thought to me, because I use the van to get me to areas that are cooler or warmer depending on the season, which really helps both my mood and my chronic illnesses. So it's not a happy thought to think that I need to kind of cut back on mileage. And in fact, most of the year I spend my time not driving. I do as much as I can do to limit my driving. Over the last month, I've been averaging about 5 to 6 miles of driving a day. So when I get on a big trip like this, it is a little bit worrisome on the one hand, but it's also very different because I'm just not used to putting on this many miles, and I'm not used to driving freeway speeds. So realizing all of this, how could I not just trust my gut and keep on driving and just feel out the van a little bit? I can always turn around or head for the coast at any point along the way here. And, you know, this is just one of those things that you kind of have to put up with if you're a nomad and you have an older vehicle. So things could be a whole lot worse. And certainly at this point, with this view, things didn't seem too bad at all. I mean, Oregon is just so beautiful. How can I not just keep on driving? Good news. We have made it quite a ways, and everything has been going really well so far today. I'm surprised and happy. So this morning we started out in Grants Pass, just north of Grants Pass, and we've made it all the way up here to Eugene, or is that Eugene? Either way, we are here, and it's shocking how different the van felt between yesterday and today. Today, not many issues going on, although there are probably a few reasons for that. First off is it's been cooler so far. Starting to warm up right now, but the trip has been cooler so far and much cooler than yesterday. And the van doesn't like warm temperatures. So no surprise there that it's running a little bit better in the cooler temperatures. The other thing is it's been a little bit less windy today. I had short periods of gusty winds, but it hasn't been too bad, and so it definitely felt better that way. And the other thing I was thinking of, is that the third? I wasn't keeping track, but maybe the third thing is yesterday when I filled up with gas in Grants Pass. Why does that rhyme? That doesn't sound quite right. So yesterday when I filled up with fuel in Grants Pass, That sounds better. Use take 2. I added some fuel injection cleaner, Lucas fuel injection cleaner, only the best, of course. And I also put in the mid-grade octane. My idea there was that maybe boosting up the octane would help with the power situation, the lack of power that I had yesterday. Now, I don't think that really works with modern engines, since this engine is designed to run on the cheap stuff, the low-octane stuff. But I thought it, couldn't hurt, especially because the mid-octane stuff that I bought there in Grants Pass was still $1 cheaper than what I've been spending on gas lately. So I thought it's a good time just to try it out. So maybe that made a difference. I don't know. But anyway, we're carrying on here, and we've got really no issues. Did make it up here to Eugene because I asked Google Maps, my good friend Google Maps, where the closest natural grocery store was, and it said that is right close by in Medford. And I said, well, no, I don't want to go backwards. That's going back towards California. I want to go forwards. We're carrying on. We're moving forward. So Google Maps came back and said, okay, the next closest one is in Eugene. And so I said, Eugene it is. And so here we are at the grocery store. Yeah, they didn't have everything I needed, but I bought a bottle of water, mineral water, because I always need that on drives. I always get dehydrated when I'm driving. And no, I'm not drinking that much coffee. I just get dehydrated every time I'm driving, so mineral water helps with that. I also got the eggs that I was hoping to get, and I bought some cheese, some sharp cheddar cheese, just because it was on sale. Unfortunately, they didn't have everything that I was after, but that's okay. If it were a problem, we could pop across the street to Trader Joe's, but I think this will get us by for now. So probably the first thing I should do is make some food, because I did not eat any breakfast. I didn't stop. I did open up a bag of chips and have been eating those, but those chips have been open for 3 days. I should probably finish those off today. Back when I get back on the road, I'll probably finish those off. They're starting to get a little soggy because they've been open for so long. Maybe I should just cook up a couple of eggs, and that'll be a little more nutritious. Oh yeah, I've still got guacamole to finish from yesterday, so there's a couple little things there. I gotta have some nutrition going on. And first things first, water. I need to hydrate. I really like this Natural Grocers grocery store. It's kind of like a health food store, although they don't consider themselves to be a health food store, but they've got lots of natural options. And one of the things that I was hoping they'd have, which they did, are these soy-free eggs. I bought these years ago from them, and I found that I just digest them better than most eggs. Really difficult to find soy-free eggs in most grocery stores, but they stock them here, and oddly, they were the least expensive eggs they had on offer here, and they look good. They've got nice, I don't know if I can get the camera in there, but they've got nice deep orange yolks to the eggs, so they're good eggs, I think. This is a Colorado-based grocery store chain, Natural Grocers, if memory serves. Although my memory doesn't serve too well lately, so I could be wrong about that. But they've got lots of locations around Oregon, and I used to shop in one when I was working in Seattle, and I would head out to Portland for the weekends. I would always make sure I'd stop and buy whatever I could, because a lot of the stuff that they sell in there is really good pricing. So really good store. Okay, here's my brunch. Since this is breakfast and lunch, we'll call it brunch. Just an egg sandwich with some jalapeno yellow bird, some cheddar cheese, a little bit of that guacamole that I've been trying to work on, and then of course a little more yellow birds, so you can never have too much yellow bird. So this will be, oh, on sourdough. I forgot that part. That part is important too. So this will give me some food and get me back on the road quickly. Well, now that I've eaten, I've got the little food coma setting in, probably in part because I didn't, one, sleep as much as I normally do. I think I got a good 7 hours in last night, and that's it's not quite as much as I normally get. But two, it just wasn't the most comfortable sleeping position here, with feeling like I was rolling off of bed all night long. I just never really got comfortable. So even though I stayed asleep all night long and the noise didn't bother me outside, probably wasn't the best to sleep. And so now I'm feeling it. I'm feeling tired. But now that I'm sitting here, I want to just stay sitting. Is that a good idea? Just to sit here for a while? Thinking back here, I think I left out one thing that is different between today's drive and yesterday's drive, and that is because I wasn't feeling so good yesterday. I think that compounded everything and just made everything seem worse than what it was. At least that's what I'm thinking now that I'm feeling better. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. Just like with the food situation, there's a lot of times I think I got to get something done, so I'm not going to make myself food, and then I end up feeling terrible, and that it's just a little snowball effect. And I think there was a little bit of that going on yesterday. Although over the last hour, as the outside temperature has heated up a little bit, the van is running a little bit worse. So there is something to figure out there. I wasn't making it all up in my head. There is actually something I need to figure out. And maybe it's just that the van is getting older. I mean, it is getting older, so that's something to keep in mind. There's always things that happen with an older vehicle, so got to keep you on your toes, Anyway, I was thinking I would hang around here, but it is going to be pretty warm tomorrow. I just checked the forecast, and it's supposed to start to heat up pretty bad, and the next day after that as well just keeps climbing the temperature. So might be a better idea just to move on to a cooler area. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now that I am gassed up, fooded up, I think I'm ready just to keep going. Find someplace cooler. I will feel better, as well as the van, so that's always a consideration as well. I like the cooler temperatures, just like the van likes cooler temperatures, so I guess that means I got a little drive to do. Where that will be, don't know. We'll find out. So if you're interested, you can tune in to the next episode, which will probably be at my regular time of 4:30 on Monday. That's where I aim to get a new video up every Monday at 4:30, and that is Pacific Standard Time, because let's face it, I never get too far away from the Pacific. So that will be that, and you can always hit the little follow button and the notification too if you're really interested in future updates from me. And at this point, I'm about to get back on the road, so I guess I'll just have to say thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Well, I thought we were over with this one, but we're not quite done. You know what they say about counting hatched chickens or something? Pretty much from when I left Eugene to where I am now, which is just a few miles south of Portland, the van has been running pretty much like it was running all day yesterday. Although, and maybe I'm being overly optimistic here, it seems like it's slightly better. It feels like the throttle response is better, and also, at least according to the trip computer, my mileage is up. So my mileage is up to 22.5 miles per gallon and climbing still. And I don't know if that's accurate because I forgot to check mileage when I filled up yesterday. So I'll have to do that in the future here next time I fill up. But it seems accurate so far. So there's some kind of good and bad things. Not running great, but we're still rolling, you know. Well, I was going to say I'm going to keep going, but I have another kind of larger problem, which is if I keep going through Portland, that's going to take me through Portland during rush hour, and I'd rather not do that. So maybe this will be home for the night. A second night of a rest area for me is kind of unheard of, but I think under the circumstances, probably better thing to do. I did text a buddy of mine when I was eating lunch, and he said he texted back a question and asked bad gas. And of course I said, no, I don't have bad gas. What are you, daft, you know? And then I realized, oh, the van, right. Possibly, you know, possibly I've got some bad gas and at some points, and it's working itself through, because it does definitely seem like things are slightly better. It was a little bit windy again for a little ways there, so had that to deal with. So I don't know. I was hoping that this was going to clear itself up and I wouldn't have anything to do. But I guess at this point I'm going to have to work down the list that my mechanic gave me. All simple stuff. I just need to get to a parts store. So I might as well just carry on, get to my friend's house and do it there, because it's not keeping me from moving, down a little bit on the power still, but, I'm still able to move. So not bad. Things could be worse. Would rather not have to stay in a rest area again, but as you can see, this is a pretty nice one. So worse things to have happen, to have to stay in a nice place like this. It should be fairly quiet, at least quieter than yesterday's. The freeway is way out there a ways, and I'm not pointed nose down and at the wrong angle, so I'm set the way I normally like to be parked, even though I had to back in here, which I don't know if they really like you to do, but there's a couple of campervans next to me that it did that, and so I thought, hey, if they did it, I'm going to do it too, and see if I get away with it. So there we go. Now I think we're caught up. I thought we were all caught up before, but hopefully we're caught up now. And so now I will again say, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.